Hello everyone, I hope you guys are doing great. I'm going to talk about gardening. Yeah, and I can just see people just clicking the off button. Fine, leave if you want. Fine. I'm going to talk about gardening. So, yeah, I was sitting here last night going, let's look up, the 88001 zip code and see when I can start my spring veggies. The ones from seed that I can start in my van under a light. And my God, I found out I can start them now. Like, right now, some of them. And the rest of them, we're talking spring greens and stuff, I can start in another week and a half. So this morning I got up and I ran down to the Family Dollar. I didn't want to go all the way into Las Cruces for it, just see what the Family Dollar had. Well, let me tell you, I had gone into Walmart a couple times this week and I picked up things like I picked up my seed starting mix. That was about $6. And I picked up this Ferry Morris tray. You know, the trays you can lay your seedlings in, but it was a heavy duty one, so I can carry it around without it busting. So I got one of those. It was under $3. And I only need one of this stuff. I don't need a lot. And then I looked at things. I looked at the buckets, the cheap buckets, not in the gardening section, but like in the mop section. And I had these gray buckets last year. I picked up for $2.48. They're still $2.48, and they're like 2.5 gallon. Perfect. I put stuff in them last year, so I'm gonna I looked at those, and I also looked at just these little, in the paint section, they had these little white buckets, 2-gallon buckets. And they didn't have that flare like the other ones did, so I figured they'd take up less room. So what I did, I looked at them. I haven't bought them yet, but I told myself I'm only getting 2 of the gray, 2 of the little white 2 gallons, and a long, really long, like 32 to 36 inch window box that I can just slide into the van, window planter, And that's all I was going to get. So then, like I said, I was looking, just kind of planning things out so I don't have to buy it all at once. And I found out last night that I can start growing this stuff now. So I was at the dollar. I went to Family Dollar this morning and I picked up a few things I'll share with you. Now, mind you, I'm only going to do the 4 buckets and the big window planter. Okay. So they had this for $1.25. It's hanging, $1.25, a little hanging basket. And I was like, oh my gosh, I could put lettuce and stuff in there. I don't have a shepherd hook or anything to hang it, but if I got 2 of these for $1.25, I could hang each. See, I'm already getting out of control. These are off the ground. The critters can't get to them. But for $1.25, I thought, yeah, let's go for that. Another thing I picked up, I told you I bought that Ferry Morris tray that I can carry my seedlings around in from indoors to outdoors, and I can water them when they're in the van underneath the lights so water doesn't get everywhere. You know what I'm talking about, seed trays. I didn't buy the trays themselves. But what I did buy was, a lot of times I just grow them in styrofoam cups. But the problem with styrofoam cups is I'm going to be moving them around. They're going to keep falling over. So what I got instead was styrofoam bowls. Lower center of gravity. So I can put these in, and I will plant a few of these seeds here later. But this was 30 of these was only $1.25. So you see, I'm not spending a lot on this. Another thing I got for planter sticks, so you can remember what you planted, was I bought a bag of forks. And you just take your fork, write with permanent marker, write on what you planted in the little seed trays, and then just stick it down in the dirt there. And those, 48 of them, was $1. You might buy those little plastic label things. They're outrageously priced. This works. You can use this. I almost bought a spoon. because I could write on the spoon part, but I thought this would stay in the seed trays a lot easier in the dirt with the fork on the end. So that's the things I picked up at the Family Dollar this morning. And I will plant, I can start 3 different things right now and transplant them later, put them in bigger containers or whatever later. But I will show you that. And I'm just so excited. I can't even think straight. This is a lot earlier start than I'm normally getting. Normally, I'm in zone 6. Last year, I was going between 6 and 7, so I started things at the end of February. Here it is the end of January. This is zone 8. But you got to remember, I'm going to be moving, and boy, did I learn a lot from moving around last year. I started my tomatoes and peppers since I was in zone 6 or 7. I started them at the end of February because that's pretty much what it was like in Missouri. And those things sat in those pots and I had to drag them around till May. Oh, no, till June, up into the mountains. And what's funny is, and I'm dragging these things around and they only grow so high and then they stopped. And what's funny is last year I lost a couple tomato plants, or 1 tomato plant that was like this big. I lost it to rabbits or something. I don't know what got it. But I replanted, and I went to check when I did that, and I did that in the middle of May. Do you know those ones I planted in the middle of the May caught up with those that I planted at the end of February? Those just shot up. These just didn't grow. They got so high and they stopped. Everything was fine in the end, but there was like waste of carrying these around. And it's something I learned. So this year, as tempting as it is, I will not start my peppers or tomatoes until much later. And oh, I don't know if I have the paper with me, but I wrote down what's different than what I did last year. And I am adding green beans to the list, and yadfa, and that's why I want the longer window planter, box planter, so I can just plant in a row and plant the onions around them and all that stuff. Oh, and the only other thing is I kind of messed up on everything last year, but it was my first real year of growing them in the van and then you know, trying to grow them. And then in the end, I got my vegetables. But the other thing I'm going to plant is all edible flowers. And I did this last year, though I don't remember planting marigolds. That's why I was surprised when the marigolds came up. I only edibles. So it would be marigolds, which I will plant this year, calendula, and nasturtiums. And like I said, I kind of messed up with the timing on all those things. Don't need to be planted until summer. So they're a ways off, but I will be planting those, and we'll see what else pops up along the way. I ordered several things from, about 3 things from the, from that seed catalog. I still got like 4 seed catalogs coming, and of course I can't, I'm just dreaming. I buy the seeds anyway. But if you wanted to know, yes, I'm growing yadfa. Today I'm going to start the yadfa, I'm going to start the bunching onion, I'm going to start the wild arugula, and that's what I will show you later. But what I wanted to discuss is I love to garden, I love to talk about garden, and after that video I did and talked about it, I literally lose so many people just won't tune in. And I was thinking, well, I'll just put all my gardening stuff at the end of a video. That way people can stay at the beginning, and then if they don't want to watch the end of the video, they don't have to. But still, I was trying to think of a way, ever since we started this community, I've got to know a lot of people, and I want to be able to, for us to talk, you know. I want to be able to share things on a more regular basis, but I can't do that on YouTube because it's a pain making a video and editing it and everything like that. So I was trying to find some kind of something that I could share my gardening, share what's happening in a daily life and then with Jeff and who's that? Who's that little girl down here? Mabel. You know, just normal stuff. And I looked at several different things, and I also wanted to be able to have open discussions about the gardening and everything else, you know, just kind of the back and forth of all of it, like a real community of people. And so I looked at YouTube has a membership program. So you sign up, you're a member. But the problem with that is you have to pay. And I don't want people to pay just to be included in a conversation. You know, I just don't want that. So the only other thing, I looked up Patreon and I put in free membership. And sure enough, through Patreon, you do not have to pay. That I'm talking about you guys. You do not have to pay. I don't have to pay. Well, no, I won't have to pay. Technically. But, yeah, something that we can have a conversation, and I can check in with you guys if I want to share something, or, you know, on a more real-time basis, you know. I just think that would be really nice. Like I said, I would enjoy that, I think, a lot more than the whole video thing, which, of course, I'll keep doing. But it's work, and you know, and trying to come up with subjects and things like that are sometimes, you know, iffy. You did see me shove a cheeseburger in my throat, right? I apparently have no shame whatsoever. And I wasn't exaggerating. I'll tell you what, I eat really good all the time. Really healthy things. So whenever I eat something that's not, I just pig out on it totally. It was delicious. Anyway, so yeah, I have trouble coming up with subjects sometimes. So, yeah, I think I'm going to do this Patreon thing. I've been looking at it. It would not cost you guys anything to join and be in the conversation. And that is the main thing. And I just want us, you know, I don't want anybody, you know, if they don't have the money or they don't want to put the money into it, you know, the whole financial thing, I don't want them to feel left out. So nobody has to pay to have conversations, to see my posts and things like that. Now, I will have a 1-tier level that is a pay level, and I'm still kind of working that out in my head because I'm not real ambitious, and I don't think I'm getting the idea here after a week and a half that YouTube's never going to pay me any money. At the rate I'm going, I will have 1/8 of a tank of gas paid for by YouTube a month. 1/8 of a tank. That's it. So I decided to go ahead and do a 1-tier. And I'm trying to think what would be different about that, because all the posts would be open to everybody. And I thought, well, maybe on the one pay tier, I can do little tiny videos all the time of the cats, and I know I never put them on there, but I'm just constantly doing videos of the cats and little things here and there, and so you would get, I think, on the pay tier, yeah, some little video clips on my normal everyday life, and I don't know, we'll think of something. If you have any ideas, let me know. But it's not a big deal, and I'm beginning to say this quite a bit. But on the pay tier, do with it what you will, you know. Yeah, that's all I can say about that. I'm more interested in having a community, our little community, be able to discuss things with each other, especially the gardening and the travel and, you know, just basically nomad life. But, yeah, that way this whole garden subject can be freely discussed, and I think I'm just really excited about that, guys. I really am. It's just something that really excites me because, you know, I try to avoid doing gardening videos last year because I know so many people didn't care. They would click off, and, you know, I don't want to do that to people, but at the same time, you know, I want to be able to share what's going on in my life, in my everyday life. So that is my thoughts on this subject. Let me go out. That's the end of that. Okay, well, I'm working on it. I hope to get it up sometime this week. I am so, like, hate doing these kind of things. I really do. But once it's set up, I think I can grasp the idea behind it. I was a fairly intelligent person when I had my job and I worked. I did CAD CAM design on computers. I learned on my own. I whipped those little crowns out left and right, designed them on computer. But there's a couple things I never grasped and never cared to, maybe because I had to do so much of that technical stuff at work, and that's I cannot figure out, nor do I care to learn anything about these phones. And all these, you know, different YouTubes and membership things, and you got to do this and that, and I'm just like, because, you know, I started my YouTube while I was still working, so it was no big deal then. But now I'm like, I don't want to have to think I'm retired. My brain is like retired. But so I'm doing my best. I'm hoping to get this up this week, and, you know, I hope you guys join me, and we'll have some fun, hopefully, and have some really fun discussions. And yeah, I just love the idea. I don't know about you. But okay, so I'm going to go out to the van and show you real quick what I am doing out there. And yeah, so hold on. Oh, let me turn this off. Okay, so hi, I'm back. So this video ended up being like over 30 minutes long. So at this point right here, I am going to stop. And this will be part 1. And then the actual planting of the seeds will be part 2. And that way I mean, me personally would never sit and watch a 30-minute video. I just wouldn't. You know, everybody has things to do with their time, and sitting and watching a 30-minute video is asking for a lot. So we'll split this up. This is part 1, and then we'll do a part 2. And I'll put these out real close to each other here. So, okay. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you guys are having a great day, and I'll talk to you again soon. Bye-bye.